So everything I ever thought I knew and believed, like I think I now believe the opposite. I think the opposite is true.
Yeah, it's like we literally, when we started leaving and questioning Mormonism, it felt like we were on the Truman Show.
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
we were Truman, who we'd had this whole life built around us like this big bubble, and it was beautiful and fun until we started questioning it and having doubts, and then it was like, what's
Sure.
going on? And then it started to crumble around us.
Everything
And then
crumbled.
when you find the exit door, it doesn't. There's no Truman too. I wish there was.
Yeah.
What did Truman do after he left his bubble,
Exactly.
his world?
Seriously.
Because
What was life like for Truman after he left the bubble?
because for Mormons who leave, it's very difficult. There's no like tried and true strategy.
There's no
or
path. There's no like chosen path.
Yeah, we had a system. We knew exactly what we
Exactly.
were
You
supposed
just
to be doing
follow
every
the
single
system.
day.
You don't have to think. You don't have to do any thinking of your own. Follow the system. Follow these steps, and you can get.
We knew exactly how to raise our kids, what to tell them, what to believe, how to behave, all the rules. We had everything in place. And then when you start questioning it and leave, you have to come up with your own.
It's like it's this
like
totally open canvas. Totally open canvas.
And if you've ever, I'm an artist, and if you ever sit in front of an open canvas, there's two things that happen. You're super excited because you get to start over. It's a blank slate. You have this whole thing that you get to create. And two, you're terrified. What if I do it wrong? What am I supposed to create? Like, you question yourself, you doubt. You're like, well, what do I want it to be? I don't know. And that's how we were after leaving Mormonism. It was just like, well, what do we do now? We had 6 kids. You know?
Yeah, it's not like we were just
raised.
like exactly.
And all of a sudden they're like, because we had family scripture study and prayer every meal we had every day.
Seriously.
And then every meal we always blessed the food. And prayed to a God that we now were questioning and didn't even know if we believed in. And then we had every week we'd have family home evening.
Sure.
Every Christmas.
Your
was
life
all
is
about
just
Christ.
I mean, I think that's part of the program is keep you so busy, keep you so distracted with all this stuff.
So
you can't actually think. You can't actually have any space to like have any like objective introspection whatsoever.
Right. And with both of us having callings where we taught, and we were the ones like teaching gospel doctrine or the young women's program and whatever, like we had to like study throughout the week every single day.
I mean,
we're studying our scriptures
you're just
personally.
studying curriculum. You're not studying like anything that's going to question it.
Right.
And that's just like the whole.
Although I have a friend who was a seminary teacher, got called to be a seminary teacher, and that's when she started questioning, because she started getting into some of the deeper, more obscure, hidden doctrines.
Well,
and she was like,
I was into that for a long time, yeah.
Yeah, he read a lot of that stuff. I still haven't to this day. I have not read the CES letter. I have not read, what's the other one? A letter to my wife or something like that.
That stuff doesn't even interest me anymore, honestly. It can be like a springboard into like seeing the world differently, because you're so hooked to this list of beliefs, and when they start to be questioned, like you need to like see actual evidence for the validity or lack of validity of these beliefs. But it's like,
see, what I've seen happen in a lot of people who have left the church is they turn to nihilism. Like, what's the point?
Sure,
like,
totally.
there's no evidence whatsoever anymore to any of the things that I ever believed. All of the spiritual experience they had is now discounted because I was labeled the Holy Ghost, and so now it means nothing to them. And for me, that didn't happen. I don't know about for you, but like for me, it was like I was able to just say, oh, it wasn't the Holy Ghost. It was just my inner guidance. It was my inner intuition. Because my beliefs are now drastically different, but kind of similar in a way. Like I've held on to the idea that we are eternal beings having a human experience. I've held on to believe that we lived before and we will live after. And while we don't have physical evidence or proof, I have had so many experiences that I cannot discount, that there's no way I could say that I don't believe in life after death. We had our daughter die. You can see pictures, I don't know what I had to use on this, above us. This is our daughter Emberly, and she actually died about exactly a year later after we left the church. And that for me was massive opening of my heart chakra and my ability to channel. We actually channeled a book together, and that changed my beliefs drastically. Some of the things that I channeled and conversed with Emberly about were very validating and also very stretching for me, because even after a year of leaving, I still doubted myself. I still had a lot of fear. I was still really scared of all the consequences that I've been taught. We still had no idea how to raise our kids anymore. We were very more open. And I think more loving parents, more
Yeah.
accepting of who they are, instead of like trying to transform them or mold them into who we wanted them to be. We allowed them to just shape themselves.
Yeah.
Which is very hard as a parent. You
Very,
want
it's
to have
very
control.
hard. Very hard to
You know, but I think that
to let go of control.
I went from Mormon to mystic, and mystic for me is just an open, loving idea that we are all God, that we are all love, that we're all light, and that we came here with soul plans, that we had desires to learn and grow and expand our consciousness, but that we already had all of that before, and we'll already have it when we return. And so for me, it's been kind of more of an expansive journey. I was lit up by something outside of the church rather than like held back by this only one way of seeing the world. Like, I can look at every single person now and love them unconditionally and not need to save them, not need to fix them, not need to indoctrinate them, or not even have them agree with me. Like, you can absolutely listen to me and say, that woman's nuts, or she's crazy, or like, I've had a lot of people say, you didn't channel your daughter, you're channeling the devil. You know, there's so many things from my old belief system that I totally get. Been criticized enough that I know I probably would have been one of those people saying that stuff. Maybe not openly to me, but about me for sure. You know, and
apostate.
Yeah, or you know, there's just so many things that people don't understand, and I think that people fear what they don't understand, and that they're not willing to listen to something if they're afraid of it.
Yeah, and that's I think the biggest challenge, at least for me and for a lot of people, is you're in this space where there's still this deep part of you that loves people, that wants to connect, that loves truth, but nobody understands you. Like, you have, and the biggest challenge is you have to be okay for a while. And I'm still in this space. I don't feel like many people understand me, and you just have to be okay for a while, not being understood, and that's really hard because. You know, you want that sense of validation, you want that sense of acceptance, especially from family and friends and loved ones. And you may be lucky and have people that still support you. You may not. I mean, we haven't had any family support.
Well, we've been lucky that both of us have at least one brother. You have a couple siblings who have left the church, and that is really helpful.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful.
My brother is a little bit more open to spirituality and the things that I believe now. Whereas his is more nihilistic.
It's just different. I mean, again, there's no.
That's fine.
And this is like the whole thing. Like, there's no one right way. And this is when this. I mean, for me too, is this sense of expansiveness. This is the beauty of our relationship, of just being open, of being in this loving spaces. I'm not exactly where she is with her beliefs, totally 100%. I mean, I'm very, very similar. But I hold space for her to believe what she wants to believe, and she holds space for me to believe what I want to believe. And it's a beautiful thing, just because you're not trying to conform to some rigid dogma.
You have to fit inside my box, or else I can't be with you anymore.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of members, there's one member in and one member out. I don't think that would have worked for us.
No, it would have been really hard.
I don't know that we could have. Maybe we could have, but I don't know.
I mean, it's possible. Relationships. I mean, it's possible for relationships to thrive, but you definitely want to be understood and loved and appreciated where you're at, and be seen where you're at from your, especially in a marital relationship. So, but yeah, I mean, from my perspective, like, it's just like I went down the rabbit hole the same way as Nicole. Like, I just got lit up by so many other ideas. I went down the rabbit hole of, like, what's the source of religion? What's the source of Christianity? What's the source of just truth in general before religion was created, before any of this was manufactured, before any of this thing came to existence? And it just kind of been a beautiful journey for me, just to this expansive state of acceptance, of love and appreciation of multiple different viewpoints. And that's sometimes, hard to be in this space, because, a lot of men in particular, they're left brain logical. They want, like, specific evidence of whatever, and I still have that part of me, but, like, you're open to learn, you're open to truth from multiple different avenues, and I don't need to call myself a Buddhist or a Taoist or a Mormon. It's like you're this, they call it omnism, like, it's this belief in truth everywhere. And that's really the essence of love and peace and joy from my perspective. It's just way broader and more expansive than it could ever fit in the box of one religion. It could ever belong to one dogma, could ever belong, and that would ever even need to follow some structured rite of passage to get to some place that's just your essence in already.
Yeah. And we have experimented together with a few different things over the last few years. And last year we did MDMA together, which is a very therapeutic, beautiful experience. But I just wanted to share this one part. We'll share more about these experiences in a different video. But this one idea came to me while I was under this therapeutic medicine that literally changed the way that I was able to see everyone. And it was literally this analogy of each and every one of us, we're wholeness and we're love and we're oneness, right? Oneness is we're all part of all that
just
is.
Just another name for God. What's the kind
another
of
name
another
of God?
Name
all
God?
That is like everyone, everywhere that has ever existed at all time. But I saw a disco ball. And a disco ball, if you've ever seen one, which I'm sure you have, it's a circular, like if you think of wholeness or oneness, it's a circular thing with lots of baby tiny mirrors shooting in every single direction and size and shape. Well, they're all the same size and shape, which all of us are like a little teeny piece of that disco ball. We're all part of the oneness, the wholeness, the all that is, and yet we have a singular perspective or vantage point or a light that we're shining while we're here as humans. And each of us, you know, I could be over here on one side. I keep looking at this is like flipped or something. We're having a disco ball. I could be up here and like a light could be shining and I could be shining brightly and it's so beautiful and light and love. And then somebody on the other side of the disco ball could look up there and see only darkness and see gross and like it's not right. Whereas the disco ball is constantly turning and growing, and depending on where the light is or where you're seeing the disco ball from, different areas shine at different times. And each of us is capable and fully able to shine our light and shine out the bright light and the love that we are. And sometimes we're in darkness and sometimes we're in light. And depending on where we're looking at it, you can see it as we are right or we are wrong. But that is a human construct. Right and wrong, dark and black, or white and black, and no gray in between. Those are all human constructs. But as a soul, we're all one. We're all part of this wholeness. And every single person's story matters, is valid, and is necessary to the wholeness. It doesn't take away from it. It actually helps it be whole.
Enhances it, yeah.
Enhances it, yeah.
So, I mean, that wherever your journey leads you after Mormonism, or if you still stay in the church, beautiful, or any religion, it's like, enjoy the journey. Like, see where life takes you. Don't feel like you're confined or bound down by the way life should be or supposed to be or must be. Like, hopefully, as you grow and evolve and experience life outside of like some rigid, structured, high-demand religion, you'll see like that these are just terms that religion uses to control you. There is no should, there is no must or have to. Like there's just this open slate that can become anything.
Yeah, so for us after Mormonism to answer what happened to Truman when
Sure.
when we opened the exit door, you know, I think it has absolutely been challenging. It has not been an easy road. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's probably the best thing we've ever done.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would say, you know, we're happier than we've ever been. Very fulfilled. Maybe we lack still friends. We're still looking to create or find a community. That's what's the main thing we lack. But
that's been the hardest part, is the loneliness.
Can you imagine what it would be like to try to go back to church?
No.
I can't even like fathom. Like, it's just I turn on conference one or two conferences ago and I started listening to them talk. I'm just like, I can't even get through the first 5 minutes. Like, I don't like it. Just I
wrote about in my book with Emberly. It felt like it would be like trying to fit back into my kindergarten
seriously
clothes.
It's like trying to grow back into these teeny little clothes when you were a kid that you wore for a while, and then you can't fit them anyway. You can't make it, like, you can't make yourself fit. You've just grown and expanded beyond the bounds that belief system or dogmatic way of life could ever hold you. So
and in a way that does make us feel happier. I truly feel a deep inner peace and a sense of joy and belonging and love and wholeness that I never had in the Mormon church. I loved the church growing up. Like, I never found fault with it until after I left. And even now I still can see a lot of benefits from being raised that way, and I'm really grateful I was, because it's made me who I am. And I see that my relationship with my children has exponentially become better, although they're all teenagers right now except for our two adults. And I just think that phase in general is harder on parents.
It's harder.
And with today's technology and all the distractions they have, it's just a totally different world, and we're the first generation of parents navigating training children up with technology.
Check out our video on parenting after Mormonism to go deeper into that.
Yeah, we'll make one of those. And I would say in general we are happier. And the thing is, I think the key for us has been that we have both worked on ourselves. We have both become so. Not worked on ourselves, but it's been more of an unlearning and unbecoming.
It's exactly what it is.
An unraveling of all the ties and the connections that we had that made us feel less than or not good
It's
enough.
not being scared to go anywhere that you feel drawn to. Not being scared to explore different ideas, different ways of thinking, different substances if you want. Who cares? You're beyond this box, and there's not really a right or wrong that you're constrained by anymore.
Yeah, and there's so much less shame and judgment.
There's no shame or judgment, and that's the thing. And that's the thing. That shame and judgment is the ultimate illusion. Like the only way that faith has any hold on you is the idea of shame and judgment that's been conditioned in your nervous system so much, maybe since you were young like us. But that's just completely an illusion. Like the only.
Yeah, when you can heal that belief system of I'm not good enough, I have to prove my worthiness.
Sure.
I have to do all these things in order to be considered like part of the tribe or to be considered worthy. When you can unravel that and heal the inner child that was taught that they were to be seen and not heard, or women, we're unworthy unless we have a priesthood holder, or we don't have any power within ourselves.
Yeah,
it's all just a hogwash.
Just kind of funny.
But when you can heal that and feel wholeness from within, it is just otherworldly. You feel
Absolutely.
Heaven on earth. You don't have to wait till you die to have the eternal benefits and rewards of living a good life. You can live a good life right now and be present here and now. And that's something that, I had this meditation, let's see if I can remember it, where I was, really just picturing oneness and that we are all one. And then I asked, what is one? And one is the acronym for Only Now Exists. And I was like, okay, that's really cool. Only now exists, because as eternal beings, we're timeless. We don't have time except as a human construct. And then I was like, well, what does now mean? Now stands for the acronym Notice Our Wholeness. Notice your wholeness. It's already there. And when you can be in this now moment and appreciate who you are, who you've become, and who you are unlearning, then you can really truly feel free and deep inner peace and joy in a way that, for me, religion never fully got me there. I always felt like I had to check off everything in order to fit in and really be worthy.
Absolutely.
Now I know 100% that I'm worthy all the time, and I don't have to do anything. I just get to be me and figure out who that is without all the constraints or the dogmas and doctrines that told me I had to do certain things.
Outside of your roles, outside of the labels that you have as male, female, mother, father, whatever other roles or labels or hats you're wearing, who are you? And that's kind of a cool thing to explore.
It's absolutely breathtaking when you get to know who you really are and see your innate, inherent wholeness and worthiness. It's a beautiful thing.
It just makes Mormonism, just Christianity and religion as a whole, just seem like completely...
just lacking.
Completely laughable. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more cool content.